be clear that there's two types of confidence, okay? There's confidence on a macro level, and I talk about this in my book, which is a belief in yourself. It's an inner belief in your ability to grow. It's a belief that you're not defined by all the things around you. So even if they don't work and they fail, you as a person are still worthy, you're still lovable, and you still have the ability to grow and be your best. That has never wavered. That has always stayed. Now, my micro level confidence, which is what, what I would say is what you're talking about, which is, building a skill or taking a risk or opportunity, all of those things that exist outside of you. Oh, there's been plenty of times where I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that well. Or I don't, I wrote my book and I was like, I don't know if my book's going to be that great. Right. So there's lots of times where I'm like, this might not be the best thing, but it never changed how I felt about myself. And I think that's what that's one of the missions of our company, is to get people to understand that you can lack confidence in a skill, a competency, or a category, but you can't let that shift your internal confidence as a human being. Okay. Right. They're two totally different things. So yeah, of course, I didn't have a lot of confidence when I first built my business when it came to business, because I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just building this from scratch. But I had confidence in myself to figure it out. Right. When I wrote my book, I was like, I'm not that great of a writer. I'm not confident in my grammar and my writing skill, but the macro level confidence was like, whatever, I'll figure it out. I'll get someone to help me. So I think that that's an important distinction.
Right. No, yeah, that's very, very important. And also surrounding yourself with the people around you who's able to encourage, push you, challenge you, and really give you the insight to succeed in what you're doing. Now, for you, you've helped a lot of people overcome certain fears, their self-confidence. When it comes to shyness and being out there and speaking, what's some of your tips or advice for people who wants to overcome shyness and speaking in front of people? What can they do?
Yeah, first, I think it's a mindset, okay, because I get this question a lot, I'm naturally an introvert or I'm an extrovert. And my response is always, you're everything. Everyone is everything. So I don't want people to put themselves in a box and think that they can't go out there and speak on stage because they're naturally an introvert. The reality is that I'm an introvert and I'm an extrovert. You're an introvert and you're an extrovert. What we want to understand is the emotional intelligence around when do I use it? Right. So if you're trying to grow in your career and you want to be seen, I always say, be seen, be heard, be relevant. Now is not the time to be an introvert, because that's not going to help you be seen, be heard, and be relevant. Right. So I am actually the majority of the time an introvert, but now is not the time, on this podcast for me to be an introvert. Right. When I'm up on stage speaking, it's not the time for me to be an introvert. But if you were to ask my family and some of my friends when we socialize, I'm pretty introverted, and that's fine. But I just know when to turn it on and when to turn it off. But what I would say is that if you're feeling shy, always ask yourself why. Because remember that your beliefs dictate your behaviors. So the behavior is that you feel shy and withdraw, right? You're withdrawn and you feel shy. Now, the question is why? What's associated to that behavior? And that's what we need to figure out. Your beliefs dictate your behaviors. And if you want to shift the behavior, you have to shift the belief.